All right, using study groups managed by the principal popular organizations and by the by popular organizations and was informed by the government about energy and nuclear. So I think this is passive, unnecessarily. The government informed using study groups managed. This is using study groups. I think that's I so that can't be right for sure. Information the public was given. The government informed about the energy. It has to be B. The public was given it by the government. Why are you making this passive? Here's so it's B. Created in 1945 to reduce poverty and stabilize foreign currency. The World Bank and the IMF have X and Y have continually struggled to meet the expectations of their shareholders. Have have struggled but neglected. They have struggled. I don't think the word but makes sense here. They've struggled and neglect. They have struggled but neglected. So they've that doesn't make sense to me. They've they've continually struggled while neglecting. They've struggled that of their intent. Again, this word but does not make sense to me. And they've continued struggle and neglect. They've struggled. They have. So it's in the past. It's past perfect. Oh, sorry, present perfect. Have. This is. They have struggled and neglecting. I don't think these two are parallel. I mean, they have struggled and neglecting their intent. I mean, okay. I don't think that. I don't think the word. They have struggled and neglected their intended, while they have struggled to meet their shareholders' expectations. I was hoping to see they have struggled to meet their expectations and neglected their beneficiaries. I don't like while so much. They've had to. They've had their expectations. I think the word that is also wrong. They have struggled but neglected their intended. I think these two are wrong. But neglected, I think that also is wrong. They have struggled, but the reason I say that is the but is wrong because these are both negative. So don't you need to have one, like they've struggled and neglected? Uh, they've struggled. Second attempt, first attempt, all wrong. Second attempt. A through POE, frankly. You can, the word that is missing. I like that. They've struggled and neglecting. They've struggled, but neglected. They've The World Bank have struggled to meet the expected, but neglected their intended benefit. I don't think the word "but" makes sense here. While neglecting that of their they've had to. Yeah, I guess I don't know. Between, I guess I'll choose maybe my third attempt. E. I guess. I guess struggled is past tense, and neglecting is present tense. Yeah, I guess this is fine because the others have huge mistakes. Technically, past tense can be parallel to present tense. So it's talking about something in the past, and they have struggle and neglect. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's E, but not sure. No other historical sighting did X's comet cause such a worldwide sensation. Did X's comet? No other. As did its return and did it. Okay. No other time did X's comet cause such a worldwide sensation as its return in 1910 did, as had its. I think you need to have. You need. I did run. I run as my father. I run as fast as my father did can be dropped. This one. No, I did run X did in no other time did X do a somersault as during the 2016 Olympics. Phelps win no other time did Phelps win 8 golds swimming as during as I don't think this is right. I think it's A. A is close. Covering 71% of the Earth's surface. What is that? The ocean. Plays an essential role in maintaining, in moderating, and in giving pure water back to the throat. The oceans. So I think this is wrong. This is wrong. Covering 71. They moderate. I think this is because they cover. That doesn't make sense to me because that's a verb ing. So given they cover, because they cover 71%, that's why they play a role. I don't think that's right. I don't think this is saying the intended meaning is just because you cover 70%, you somehow automatically are assumed to be playing an important role. I think the intended meaning is, hey, the oceans are covering. That's fine. It's just supposed to be general FYI. I think this is saying playing an essential role in maintaining this is saying the ocean, as if this is saying that this covering also, I think this is not parallel. The oceans moderate temperatures and giving pure water, it's not even parallel. But is this saying that covering the ocean? And I don't know if this makes sense. Maybe. I think it's A. Before 1988, insurance companies in California were free to charge whatever rates the market would bear. Uh-huh. Wow, that's bad. So you can charge 10,000. Were free to charge whatever rates the market would bear. Insurance company, so that's wrong. Needing no approval from regulators before raising rates. And I don't think this is parallel. This is not parallel to XO free to X to ABC. This is not parallel, so that's wrong. With approvals, with approval not needed by before they raise rates, before the raising or yeah. Needing no approval. With I think it's just from conciseness. It just seems to eat. I don't know if B and C are wrong because of the word and. I don't know. X were free to roam around and they needed no approval. I think this is okay actually. I think the issue is in with the approval not needed by regulators for the raising of. I don't know why would you say that before the raising of rates compared to they raised. I think D versus E, D wins. With approval not needed, no approval needed before the raising rates. But with needing no approval, this is. I wonder what kind of is this a. Doesn't make sense to use a comma adverbial modifier. X X was free to do whatever. X was free to roam around at night, needing no approval. This is almost suggesting that this cause this, which doesn't make sense. Does this? Maybe I would go with D because I don't think the adverbial makes sense over here. I think I will go with D, but D versus E, I will go with D. Marconi's conception of the radio was a substitute for the telephone, a tool for private. Was a substitute for the telephone. So I think the radio came before the telephone. Marconi's conception of the radio was a substitute for the telephone. Instead, it is precisely the opposite, a tool for communicating with large. Was as a substitute. Yeah, I think that's fishy. Was as a substitute. That's fishy. Yeah, I think B makes more sense. You conceive of the radio as a substitute for the telly, but which is a person that can't be right. Marconi conceived of the radio as a tool for private conversation that could substitute. Instead, it has become precisely the opposite. I think that makes more sense. Be a tool. You conceived of the radio as a tool for. You conceived of the radio to be a tool for that could substitute for the telephone. I don't think this makes sense. Which has become, other than what it is. Instead, yeah, I think the word instead makes sense over here. I'm just going with C. This just looks ugly. A tool. Other than what it is, what the heck is that? That doesn't even make this ugly. Yeah, that's no way. C above. Unlike the automobile company, whose research was based on crashes and rolling sports, unlike the automobile company, the research conducted, so that's not even the research conducted by. So that can't be right. That can't be right. That can't be right. The research conducted by the insurance company took into account X, Y, and Z. Unlike X's research on crashes having been, unlike X's research having been based, oh my god, unless unlike X's research on crashes. This, I think you're trying to. That doesn't make sense because you're trying to say that the research by the insurance company is much better than research by or auto company. I think that's what you're saying. Now you're telling me that having been based on unlike the X's research on crashes and the research company's research. Yeah, I don't think you can compare because D is forcing a compare. The comparison is between research by insurance company takes into account age, sex, driving record, whereas research by auto company not. That's what I'm trying to do. With option D, I seem to be forced into saying that research by insurance takes into, whereas research by auto company was done having been based on sports vehicles. Okay, but what about the research by insurance company? Was that not done on sports vehicles? What are you trying to when you're saying research by two institutions, insurance versus auto? How are they different? I think that they're different because the one done by insurance companies did it differently based on this, whereas auto companies' research did not take into account these factors. That's what E is suggesting, whereas D is suggesting research by insurance company takes into account age, sex, driving record, but research by auto companies, we don't know whether it does or does not take into account these factors, but it was done on sports vehicles. So it's a bit, it doesn't make sense to say that personally. I think I would go with E. All right. How many more? Winds will continue to usher in a seasonably cool air mass into the region. That's good. Will continue to usher in cool air mass into the region. Okay. As a broad area, as a broad area of high pressure will build and bring fair and dry weather for. I'm trying to understand what's the sequence of events. Gusts will continue to usher in cool air as a broad area will build and bring fair and dry weather. Fair and dry. So this was talking about cool air, whereas this is talking about fair and dry weather. Mm. Mm. I think if I think the word that is wrong. What is the sequence? I'm not sure. I think it makes sense to say and actually. X winds will continue to cool air and will usher in cool air and will bring fair and dry weather. I think C makes sense. Uh-huh. I don't think it makes sense and it doesn't make sense to say as. A is wrong because A is saying winds will continue to usher in cool air as X will build and bring fair and dry weather. But that doesn't make sense. A broad area will build and a broad area will bring fair. Broad area. Will build and will build and will build and will bring. How will a broad area bring fair and dry weather? So I think that's wrong because of parallelism. We'll continue ushering with a broad building and that's not even parallel with a broad area of building and bringing. That's not parallel. The containers. The region as while abroad. This is saying high pressure, which will bring fair and dry weather. While abroad. While abroad. What is that modifying? Is that modifying winds? I will sleep while you eat. I will sleep while you eat. I will eat chicken while you sleep. It's not. I think I will. I think this is modifying to Usher. And I think that's why it's wrong. That doesn't make sense to me. I think also even this which will bring. Is it? Is it really the? Well, it's also not next to a noun. The cat is sleeping, which is the word which is not very close to. I think that's wrong as well. The cat builds. Cat. Cat. The cat. So I'll go with C. November is traditionally the strongest month for sales of light trucks. But sales this past November, even when compared with sales in previous November, accounted for a remarkably larger for a remarkably large share of the total. So November, it's almost like Christmas. Christmas has always been a big thing. This Christmas, our sales from Christmas was 99%, whereas in previous years, maybe it was 90%. That's what it's saying. I think A looks good, but even when it is compared, it's clearly wrong. So that compared with that can't be correct. So that this was, I think, even when they're compared with, say, but when they're the word "they" is wrong for sure. I think sales is singular. Sales is good. How are the sales? Sales is good. I think so. Even when they are sales of light trucks, are good. But even when they are well, even they were with previous with previous Novembers. That's a false comparison when they're compared with sales in previous Novembers. Yeah, this is accurate. This is wrong. I guess they is referring to even when they. I guess they is sales. The sale is good. The sale is good. I guess sales is single. It may be parallel. Oh, sorry, it may be plural. The largest of all planets. Not only is Jupiter 3 times so massive as Saturn, that doesn't make sense. 3 times so massive? No way. 3 times. Largest of all the planets. Not only is Jupiter 3 times as massive as Saturn, the next largest, but also possesses 4 of the largest hormones that are as massive. Not only X, but also the largest of Jupiter, but also possesses 4. Not okay. Not only, but also possesses Jupiter. Not only is Jupiter, that's not parallel to, but also possesses. Not only is Jupiter, but also possesses Jupiter, not only three. That does not make sense. Jupiter not only is three times, but is not only X, but also I think this is more parallel. D is more. Let's see. Here's Jupiter. Anyways, while most of the earliest known ball courts in M, while most of the earliest known ball courts in M date, while ball courts, latex balls, at, while most latex balls and representation attest to the fact that ball game was well established. While most of the was well, so while balls and representations attest to the fact that as to this fact, to another fact. While latex